Under the crashing waves and moving tides was a world lost in time, a place so wild even the mighty Tyrannosaurus and Triceratops stayed away. Imagine a world so big and tough that the greatest land animals had no control. This was the time when oceans ruled the earth, and the rulers were sea creatures so powerful they made even dinosaurs look small. What if I told you some sea predators were as long as a city bus and had jaws deadlier than any monster on land, that the scariest hunters of the dinosaur age weren't on land, but deep in the oceans quietly hunting their next meal? Down in the dark water, beasts like mosasaurs and pliosaurs ruled with brutal strength, shaking the ancient seas with every move. Today we dig through layers of earth and time to find the real kings of the ancient oceans, creatures so strong they could pull a young dinosaur into the deep. From hunters near the shores to those in the open sea, we'll explore a hidden world where teeth and tails ruled everything. Get ready to rethink everything you believed about dinosaurs. The ocean didn't just hold life, it swallowed it whole. Come with me as we dive into this wild underwater story and meet the giants that ruled the deep. From the hot start of the Triassic, through the green lands of the Jurassic, to the final days of the Cretaceous, the Mesozoic era belonged to the dinosaurs. For over 180 million years, these giants changed every corner of the Earth. In the steamy swamps of the Triassic, small and fast dinosaurs first appeared, making their way through forests full of ferns. As the supercontinent Pangaea broke apart and climates shifted, the Jurassic brought giants like Apatosaurus and Stegosaurus walking through green floodplains, while hunters like Allosaurus mastered the skill of chasing prey. By the time of the Cretaceous, evolution gave us famous stars like T-Rex and Triceratops, rulers of a land where their heavy steps shook the ground. How did dinosaurs take over like this? Their big strength was how well they could adapt. Hollow bones made them light and fast. Special teeth helped them eat different foods, and smart breathing systems gave them energy for long chases. They took over all kinds of places, from dry deserts to thick forests, and came in all shapes, from herds of duck-billed dinos to tank-like ankylosaurs. On land, nothing else came close to their size or clever design. But what about the sea? While dinosaurs stomped across land, the ocean told another story. Underwater, evolution made predators built not for loud power, but for smooth speed and quiet moves. In the water, it wasn't about strength or loud roars. It was about how well you moved and how quietly you could sneak up. Monsters with teeth and fins ruled a world where gravity didn't matter, and even the biggest dinosaurs stayed away. Up next, we'll meet those sea beasts, true masters of a world beyond the shore. Get ready to dive deep and see who really ruled the Mesozoic oceans. From the first stir of life in the Mesozoic seas, a new group of predators appeared, fast, sharp-toothed hunters made for life under the waves. Picture animals as long as a school bus, bodies shaped to slice through water like real torpedoes. These were mosasaurs, pliosaurs, ichthyosaurs, and gnathosaurs, the top hunters of the oceans, matching and even beating land dinosaurs in power. Mosasaurs became top predators in the late Cretaceous, growing over 15 meters long. Their flippers moved them with smooth, snake-like grace. They came from land animals that returned to the sea, changing into swimmers with strong tails and paddle-shaped limbs, perfect for surprise attacks near the shore. Their jaws snapped shut with the force of a T-Rex bite, using sharp teeth to crush turtle shells and wipe out schools of fish in one bite. Pliosaurs, related to pliosaurs, looked like monsters made from bones, short necks, huge heads, and mouths full of cone-shaped teeth. Some reached 12 meters with skulls the size of a small car. They hunted like orcas do today, smart, fast, and sometimes in groups. Their smooth bodies gave them speed bursts to catch squid and even other sea reptiles. Ichthyosaurs, or fish lizards, fit their name perfectly. They had fish-like bodies with dorsal fins and tails shaped like a crescent moon. Some zip through the Jurassic oceans at over 40 kilometers per hour. Their eyes were as big as dinner plates, helping them see in the dark, deep sea zones. Their long snouts were packed with needle-sharp teeth, ideal for catching soft-bodied prey like squids, just like a falcon grabbing a rabbit in flight. Nothosaurs were smaller, but important. They were the first to move from land to water. With long necks and webbed feet, they glided through shallow waters and caught small fish and crabs with super fast snaps. Their success showed that leaving land for sea could lead to huge changes, and it opened the door for bigger ocean reptiles later on. Across time and seas, these marine reptiles split into many types. Each had its own role, from hunting in reefs to crossing open oceans. They changed the game by showing that in water, speed, quiet moves, and body shape could beat size and noise. They didn't just get big, they turned into perfect machines built for speed, senses, and pure power. In the sea, every fin, ridge, and tooth had one goal: hunting with no mercy. Let's start with their bodies. Think of a land predator reshaped by water. No thick legs, no heavy armor, just a smooth, fast body like a torpedo. Mosasaurs and pliosaurs had shapes so built for water, they could shoot forward from stillness in seconds. Their stiff tails, held by strong tendons, pushed through water like a jet engine, moving faster than a charging rhino. A T-Rex could run around 20 kilometers per hour. Mosasaurs did that and more with ease. But it wasn't just their speed, it was their bite. Dinosaurs were known for size, but sea predators took it up a level. Picture a skull as long as a pickup truck, opening super wide. Pliosaurs had big jaws with hinges that stretched open even more than a gator's. Some scientists say their bite was just as strong or stronger than a T-Rex's 35,000 Newton force. Why just crush bone like a raptor when you could gulp down whole armored turtles? Now picture hunting in complete darkness. In dark water, seeing well matters most. Ichthyosaurs had beach ball-sized eyes, some of the biggest ever. Their eyes were full of light-catching cells, letting them spot glowing prey deep down. While land dinosaurs use smell and daylight, these sea monsters use sharp night vision, like today's sperm whales searching in dark ocean trenches. Of course, speed and sight mean nothing without the right tools. Fast mosasaurs had strong, cone-shaped teeth, curved back to hold slippery animals. Smaller nothosaurs had long jaws full of thin, sharp teeth, perfect for stabbing fish like skewers. Their bites ripped through prey like a sharp knife cutting cloth. And here's where it gets terrifying. These weren't just open sea hunters, they were ambush predators. Picture a baby triceratops drinking at the shoreline, when suddenly a mosasaur explodes out of the water, jaws wide, and drags it under. No time to scream, just splashes, then silence. Modern orcas sometimes do this to seals, but these ancient beasts did it on a whole other level. But those weren't the only monsters the ocean made. Evolution wasn't done yet. From familiar torpedo shapes and jaws full of teeth, the deep ocean also gave rise to creatures so strange they seem like something out of science fiction. Let's start with one of the strangest shapes evolution ever produced. Take elasmosaurs, a type of pliosaur with necks up to 7 meters long, thin like whips, but lined with sharp, needle-like teeth. Their heads moved between reef columns like silent spears, grabbing fish by surprise. Imagine a giraffe's neck attached to a torpedo-shaped body, turning slow movements into sharp, deadly strikes. With big, flat flippers, these snake-like hunters could stay in one spot, sweeping their necks through schools of fish like a graceful underwater dance. And in the darkest parts of the ocean, some reptiles may have hunted by sound. In deep, dim waters, sight is weak, but sound rules. Some scientists think certain pliosaurs used a basic type of sonar, clicking sounds made in their nose areas that bounced off rocks and prey. Even though soft tissue doesn't usually fossilize, tiny parts in their skulls suggest they had echo chambers, kind of like dolphins. If true, these animals could see in total darkness by sound alone, finding their prey before it even sensed danger. And sometimes evolution repeats itself. It seems evolution had a favorite design. Ichthyosaurs looked just like dolphins. They had top fins, crescent-shaped tails, and smooth bodies. Big pliosaurs looked more like great white sharks, with long, sharp noses and strong jaws, shaped by over 250 million years of change. Even their teeth matched in shape and sharp edges, showing how nature tends to solve the same problem the same way. These lookalikes are a clear example of how similar challenges lead to similar shapes over time. And here's something that flips the whole idea of cold-blooded reptiles. New research shows that some sea reptiles might have been warm-blooded. This means they could keep a high energy level for long swims and fast chases. Fossils of ichthyosaur bones show thick networks of blood vessels, just like in animals that make their own body heat. If that's true, these cold-blooded giants were more like sea mammals than reptiles, using body heat to keep their muscles ready for action. With all these twists in evolution, nature shows just how creative it can be. The same ocean challenges that shaped whales and sharks also changed reptiles into wild, powerful creatures. And as we keep finding fossils and studying old bones, who knows what other strange and amazing things we'll uncover in the ancient world. The sky broke apart with unimaginable power. 66 million years ago, a massive asteroid, 10 kilometers wide, slammed into what is now Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. This is known as the Chicxulub impact. In seconds, fires raged across the planet and clouds of dust and sulfur filled the air. Sunlight vanished for months, turning Earth into a freezing impact winter. Underwater, things got just as bad. Plankton, the tiny plants that feed the whole ocean food chain, died off when sunlight disappeared. Without them, fish populations crashed. The big predators had nothing to eat. Ocean temperatures dropped fast, ruining the warm waters that marine reptiles needed. At the same time, acid rain changed the ocean's chemistry, making it more acidic. This destroyed the shells of many sea creatures that top predators relied on for food. Mosasaurs, pliosaurs, ichthyosaurs, and others, once the rulers of the sea, were hit by three deadly problems: no food, cold waters, and acid oceans. Their fast metabolisms, which once gave them speed, now worked against them when energy was gone. In just a few thousand years, nearly all types of sea reptiles disappeared from the fossil record. The last elasmosaurs and pliosaurs went extinct, leaving only their bones hidden in deep layers of earth. After all this, a strange quiet took over the oceans. The rule of teeth and fins, which lasted over 150 million years, ended almost instantly. The seas, once filled with giant hunters, turned into a silent graveyard. But nature never stays silent for long. After the Great Extinction, silence filled the oceans, but that silence brought new chances. With the giant sea reptiles gone, an empty throne waited to be claimed. Over the next 10 million years, mammals, who had already adapted to life on land, returned to the sea, eventually becoming the whales, dolphins, and porpoises we know today. And in the shallows, a new shape began to glide. Early whale ancestors called archaeochetes swam through shallow shores, their leg bones slowly changing into strong tail flukes. With no more mosasaurs or pliosaurs to compete with, these early whales quickly evolved. Some learned to filter tiny sea creatures like modern baleen whales, while others hunted fish with sharp teeth, much like today's dolphins. By 30 million years ago, fully water-living whales had taken over, masters of a sea world that the reptiles would never rule again. But they weren't alone. At the same time, powerful hunters like orcas species evolved to hunt in groups, using smart sounds and team tactics that ancient reptiles never had. These warm-blooded mammals with advanced brains adapted well to the changing oceans and rich waters of the Miocene era. Their rule was built on the remains of the ocean's old giants, taking over ecosystems shaped by hundreds of millions of years of life. Fast forward to today. Today's seas are full of amazing life, huge blue whales singing across oceans, great white sharks cruising through kelp forests, and orca families hunting with near-perfect teamwork. All of them come from a history that was restarted by disaster. A reminder that when giants fall, new life rises. The end of an age was the beginning of another. The end of the mosasaurs and pliosaurs wasn't just the close of a chapter, it was the start of something new. The age of marine mammals. In the deep blue world they now call home, their survival and change continues, writing the next part of the ocean's long story.